crossed the line now, DC, or Warner's, or whoever's running that trash up there.
The people up top who put that trash together are running and hiding like cowards. Whoever running that trash out there getting away, it's ridiculous, man.
You've been playing with my emotions and all the emotions of all the DC fans for too damn long. This has gotten way out of hand, and now it is getting embarrassing and sad and pathetic. And I'm super duper 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 pissed. No, but for real, this is really getting, it's getting embarrassing now. What's going on? Henry Cavill, I feel so bad for the dude. Like he just wants to play Superman. He was promised the Superman movie. Everybody loves him. Most people love him. And this is just like, it makes sense if someone's like, hey, you're in the Superman movie, and or like you're gonna play a character for this amount of time, and then you play and then it's like, oh no, sorry, you're not gonna play that character. All right, cool, that's fine. And then at best you can do once that, oh, he's back. But to do that, he's back and he's out, and then he's back and then he's out, he's in and he's out and he's in and he's out. It's no longer a casting for Superman. It's an audition for like a sex film. And as a DCEU fan, it's not been easy over the past couple of years. I've been taking a lot of ridicule. People have been making a lot of fun of the whole Snyderverse and everything. But I've stood strong. I've cried a little bit, but I've stood strong. I wiped my tears. And now it's just getting out of hand, because the only thing that me and all the DCEU haters, or like Snyderverse haters, could agree upon was that Henry Cavill as Superman was pretty awesome. And we all wish that at some point, because we got an origin story, we got the whole thing with obviously they rushed into BVS and all that stuff, but I think everyone wanted was just, even Henry Cavill included, was just like a regular Superman movie with Henry Cavill in it, with a hopeful, happy Superman. But I think let's just get into the whole Henry Cavill timeline and how it all went down. So let's start with, a lot of people may not know this, but let's start with the early 2000s. I think around 2005, it was reported that I think J.J. Abrams was supposed to write a Superman movie called Superman Flyby, and I think Henry Cavill was already chosen for that part. And I think it was supposed to be directed by the director named MCG, who's directed like all kinds of music videos, like a lot of Korn videos, and he went on to direct such hit films like Terminator Salvation, This Means War. But yeah, that was the first Henry Cavill as Superman news. And so right after that, I think then it was, the next one was obviously Man of Steel. Everyone was, I think everyone was happy. I was super happy when that happened, because I grew up in the 90s and I was too young to appreciate Christopher Reeves at that time. It was way too campy, and obviously now I can appreciate it, but at that time it was too much. It was way too camp. And then I just waited. Like we've had so many superhero movies. We had X-Men, we had Blade, we had all the Batman movies, and we finally get a Superman movie, and it totally sucked. I don't know how Bryan Singer goes from making one of the best X-Men movies to then making something as a... And Brandon Routh was okay, but he definitely didn't have that charm and charisma of like Christopher Reeves, But once after like 49 Batman movies, we finally got a proper Superman movie with where I felt like Superman, where the actor totally embodied what Superman was. Obviously just like in feel, not like I know people have their problems with Man of Steel, with the Superman character, but I'm strictly just talking about from the point of view of Henry Cavill as an actor, just finally feeling like a Superman. And and then Man of Steel happened, and they ended up on a very hopeful note where, oh, he's Clark Kent, he's joined the Daily Planet, and the origin story is out of the way. Now we're gonna get a proper Superman movie finally, right? Nope, we get BVS. And I am a huge fan of Batman v Superman. I know everyone hates it, but I was a huge fan of it. Obviously, I always wanted a Man of Steel sequel somewhere in between that. I wish we would have gotten that, but we went to BVS, and then we were like, okay, we're jumping right into Justice League, and Justice League gets Snyder leaves, obviously for his personal reasons, in the middle, and we get the Justice League instead. And the entire tone, it was just so weird to see like such a drastic change in Superman from what we saw in Man of Steel to BVS to this. You know, that was that, but it was still kind of hopeful that, hey, you know, we Justice League did get done, and now we're getting Aquaman or whatever. So there's still hope that we might still see Henry Cavill and as Superman in more movies. And then 2018 comes by, and it's like it's being reported that he's out. What's his name? Ben Affleck is out, and Henry Cavill, I think, says like, hey, the cape's still in my closet, and I'm still not being done Superman. So, you know, we still kept hope. And Shazam comes out, and we're like, hey, we might get a cameo of Henry Cavill, and we get this fucking thing with the whole neck down. And it's just embarrassing, you know. I don't know if Henry Cavill was embarrassed to be in it, or I don't know what the hell was going on, but that was like the biggest thing where it was like, okay, Henry Cavill is no longer Superman, and I don't know how the hell they're gonna go forward with this whole thing, because how do you even recast a central figure like that in the whole universe now, you know? You would have to wait for a Flashpoint paradox or some kind of storyline where they can introduce a different character, or maybe introduce like shape-shifting. I don't know, but yeah, that was one of the biggest problems. And then the pandemic hits, and Zack Snyder gets another shot to redo his Justice League, and they film new scenes with Henry Cavill, and you know, all's right with the world with the black suit Superman. And we're like, hey, wow, you know, we finally got it. It's been like 4 or 5 years that we've been waiting for this, and we finally got it. And for me, that was kind of like a closure where it was like, okay, I think now we're done with the whole Snyderverse, the whole DCEU, and the whole Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm glad. I wish we could have gotten more, but at least we got to see the whole trilogy of whatever Zack Snyder's vision was, and whatever Henry Cavill's arc was going to be in all these movies. You know, we got to see that. You know, I'm good with it. Like, I wish we could have gotten more, but that's fine. Like, at least we got this. And then suddenly we keep getting teased. We first get teased in The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, where Amanda Waller's like, oh, Idris Elba puts Superman in the thing, in the hospital, just with the kryptonite bullet. And we're like, oh, Superman is still there in the universe, so I wonder who's gonna play it. And and then we get I think the finale, spoilers for Peacemaker, we get we get Cyborg and Flash appear, and Superman is supposed to be there, but it's just like a silhouette, and no one knows what's actually happening. And then we see the small little cameo at the end of Black Adam, and finally there's an official announcement that Henry Cavill is back. Henry Cavill made the announcement, and it's like official, like, okay, it's happening. Henry Cavill's back, everything's back, it's happening. And wow, we actually did a full video on that, because it was, I think, right after that James Gunn was introduced as James Gunn and Safar, whatever the other guy's name is, were introduced as the heads of DCU, and we were just, I was so ecstatic about the whole thing, because I was like, okay, we finally get someone who's going to be in charge of and have a vision for the whole universe, and it's hopefully going to be pretty good, and they're going to have Henry Cavill play Superman in this thing. So amazing, right? I mean you can see clips of us of how happy I looked, and all of a sudden I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see Henry Cavill talking about how he just had a meeting with James Gunn, and they've decided to go a different direction, and that he is no longer going to be Superman. And everybody's just like, what the fuck just happened? I never read comments, but that was the one thing where I really wanted to see if I'm like one of the few ones who actually really wanted Henry Cavill, and it was just littered with people just like talking about how everyone's just out on DC, just because, like, I mean, Henry Cavill was perfect for Superman, and I think a person like James Gunn would have like could have really made a really good movie with Henry Cavill as a proper, hopeful, fully realized Superman, and we don't get it, and it was just super disappointing, because I remember, I think at the end of 2016, I remember seeing like a post by The Rock of like, there was like, he posted a photo of him and Henry Cavill just like chilling, and that's towards the end of 2016. I still remember this, because I was like, oh my god, maybe they're gonna do like a Strange Attractors kind of a thing, and I was like, wow, that'll be so cool. So but my point is, like, Dwayne Johnson, I think, convinced Henry Cavill and like Warner to finally shoot the scene and make it official that he's finally back. And then literally like a few weeks later, they have this meeting with James Gunn, and in my mind it's like, shouldn't this meeting have happened like just like 2 months before any of this happened? It's so weird that you would make it. Almost feels like Warner's knew that James Gunn may not want Henry Cavill in this universe, and not Henry Cavill, but just like they may just want to just scrap it all and just start from scratch and have their own vision, and it may not include Henry Cavill, but I think Warners were like, oh my god, Black Adam's like fully tanking it, and it's like a shit show. So maybe like if we announce this whole Henry Cavill thing, maybe it'll boost sales for Black Adam before we start afresh, and that honestly feels like what happened, and it's like one of the most sleazy things you can do. It was just dumb, I think. Like, just don't even make the announcement, just have him do the cameo, and that's it, and be like, hey, I just did a cameo, that's it. We're waiting for James Gunn and Safran to like we're gonna have a meeting with them and then see what we're gonna do in the future, but this was just about just doing a cameo for Black Adam, and that's it. But to have him make a full announcement that he's fully back as Superman, and then a few weeks later you have the meeting with James Gunn. So yeah, it was just terrible, and just a ridiculous way to play around with fans. I mean, fans have stuck with the DCU. Now it's been 10 years. It's crazy to think that, but it honestly just feels way longer and way shorter at the same time, because we've only got like 3 Superman like 3 movies where Superman's barely showed up in 10 years. And is this really weird to is this bad planning? I mean, and I guess they're trying to right that ship, but I don't know how fans are going to react, and I think we know how fans are going to react, because we'll get into that now. Now that we're going to talk about James Gunn. So the whole Henry Cavill thing, I was super pissed with, but in James Gunn's defense, I don't blame James Gunn for any of this.